High Plains Technology Center, turning education and training into workplace success.
Oh, back to school, to prove to Dad that I'm not a fool.
High Plains Technology Center, education at the speed of business. School is now in session.
All right, good morning, Taylor Burnett, High Plains Technology Center. Have some special guests. The beauty is it's like hot off the press because boom, we're going to talk about it and boom, they're going to go to it. But I love what we've kind of done. I'm going to introduce my guests first, so go ahead.
Darla Borden from the Academic Center.
Vonda Smith with the Biz Department.
All right. You know, I get to deal with both of you a lot and everything, but we've got this event that's coming up today that I think is one of the coolest things, and it's called Life Happens. Got to really emphasize the life, right, part of this Life Happens
Definitely.
Thing more than anything. But it's something that we do for our sending school students out there that are juniors and seniors. I'll let them get into this a little bit, but it's something I wish I would have had as well. So Vonda is going to kind of talk about it because I remember, when this started, one of our former employees and Main Street director kind of came up with this as well. But Vonda, go ahead and talk about how this started.
Sarah Boyce saw this event in an Oklahoma City area school, so she came back to Woodward and approached Andra Smith, who worked at High Plains at the time, and asked how we could get this to our students. And that's kind of how things got set in motion. Andra set about getting fellow coworkers involved and started contacting our area business people and professionals and got everyone on board. And we have representatives from our area. And
the beauty of this is it does kind of encompass almost our whole area around the seminar center. It's pretty neat. Like I said before, I love the moniker Life Happens because I'm telling you what, young kids, believe it or not, and some of you already been punched in the face, but some of you can get punched in the face even harder. It's like Muhammad Ali says, you get knocked down 10 times, you get up 11. That's what life is about. And it teaches you some skills. So talk a little bit about those skills.
Well,
what they're kind of going to go through.
The students will, they'll get a pay stub, and their pay stub is based on their career pathway. That's where we are more specialized than some of the other reality check programs that go on because our students are already on a career path. So they're going to get a check stub. So
this is when you really want to be in the right program and
Absolutely.
Everything, right? You don't want to be one of those guys that's, hey, I'm gonna, I don't know. I guess.
Exactly.
But everything that we have actually pays pretty well, so.
It does, but starting out, they're going to find out that first year that you have that dream job where you're going to climb that ladder doesn't always pay a lot. And so they'll get that pay stub and they'll go to the bank and they'll open a bank account.
Okay.
And we've got 3 banks that are coming to help with that this year. We've got Great Plains Bank, Stock Exchange Bank, and Bank 7. And those will all be there to help them set up those accounts. And then from there, they'll go to the other participating booths.
They have to go get housing, insurance, vehicles, utilities.
The utilities and insurance, and then that darn tax scenario a lot of times, which we're blessed with. But a lot of times we look at it and go, golly, is this real? This is real life, right? So go ahead. So they have different booths, right?
Yes, they have to go buy groceries. We have spin the wheel of chance.
Okay, so I was going to say, this isn't like the game of life.
Right.
But part of it kind of is, right?
Yeah, they have to spin the wheel, and one of them is a chance. They may get a income tax return, or they may have broken their leg and have doctor bills.
Okay. Do they choose to get married or anything like the game of life?
They have to draw out of a hat for their status, and they can be single, married, and then the amount of children that they have is also listed on that. And so we also have a daycare booth.
Ooh, yeah, there's the money right there.
Because also your groceries go up with how many dependents you have.
Especially if they have teenagers, I mean, that's when the bills really go up, right?
Yes. So absolutely. And even after those teen years.
Yes.
So we have Boomer Kids Club. We'll be there to do the child care booth. Sarah Boyce and Angie Lehman always come and help. They're some of the ones who started it. Yeah. And they always come and help us and provide us great help. This year, the car dealerships are coming that we have here in Woodward. Vance Auto Group and Barber Dyson are going to come and represent.
2 new ones, and they're putting their feet in and getting in the mix in the business. That's what I love more than anything. We've been blessed there as well.
And also Pioneer is going to come for like the internet services and those type of
not cell phone services. Thanks,
have.
Blake. No, go ahead. Sorry. I digress, my friend.
Kevin Kanzler will be there for State Farm Insurance. And then Brian Cook and Kendra Brown with Advanced Real Estate Advisors, they are going to come and help the students determine their housing. They will have rent or own options.
Who have their own show. Maybe they'll even talk a little bit about Life Happens at their own show that they have on KWFX as well. So, the cool thing about this is, we're only having our students. It's something that I wish we could expand upon, but space is limited a little bit. But it's something that we actually get to offer with that. So, we all know what it's like starting out, right? I mean, we're all seasoned in this room.
Speak for yourself.
But some of these kids might not know because they think they're pretty bulletproof. So what's the most devastating card that they could actually draw on Life Happens? Do you remember?
Last year we had a Denali.
Oh, a card. No, I'm saying a card for like the Life Happens event.
The Denali is the worst thing they did, though. A lot of them went
because they wanted it.
they went for the brand new vehicle and then realized that they couldn't afford it. So we have an SOS booth partway through when you can't afford it, and they go back, and Vonda happens to be one of those people, and they'll go back through what they're paying and say, hey, you probably need to cut back here or here. Here's something that you could do.
Life experiences.
Yes. You might need that beater car instead of the really nice one.
I keep on saying those Japanese imports at times, not to talk a little about it or things, but those cars starting out are perfect. Everybody wants a Denali. Everybody wants the,
absolutely
rolling with the rims and the tires and stuff, right, with things. But so what do they go on and get, say, a promotion and get a bump in pay during this time at all?
Not in this event.
Because there's not enough time.
There's not enough time.
They might get a bonus for extra hours or something like that.
Extra hours? What's that?
On the chance wheel when they spin the wheel. But other than that, no, they don't get anything like that except for the chance wheel if they have something good happen. A birthday card from grandma with money in it. We all love those.
Huh. Okay.
Those kind of things. But as far as a promotion, no. And if they have drawn a spouse in this game,
does that increase their salary?
It does increase their salary.
Okay.
Their pay stub will show what their spouse, when they draw the spouse, it will show what that one makes as well. But then they have to have 2 cars.
Oh, okay.
So
that is a real Life Happens scenario because, especially living Northwest Oklahoma, we don't have very many modes of transportation.
No, the subway does not come by.
For some reason, even in Oklahoma, we really, truly don't with things. There's a transit and a bus station in the bigger metropolises, but around here, kind of doesn't happen. That's something you don't ever really think about either.
And transportation and housing, they are required to have insurance.
Okay, so you make them. Mm-hmm. That's a good thing. That's the best lesson that anybody could have because that's the first question anybody asks when they get in the vehicle. Do you have insurance? And then sometimes they take off and speed off and no, they don't have insurance, right?
Yes.
So Kevin Kanzler probably promotes that. So go through the list of exactly everybody that helps because once again, this is not just a High Plains event. Like we said, this is started by Andrew, one of our former employees, and Sarah. She brings in Angie Lehman as well because they even see the need with that. To live in a community like we live in our sending district and everything, this doesn't happen just by ourselves. Everybody pitching in. And I have to admit, they don't only just pitch in for this. They are pitching in at our schools all the time. All these people are. It's a big thing. And they're volunteering their time. Time is, as a business owner or someone that is employed, money. But it's also a way to get their name out there a little bit as well. But that shows you how important it is. So go through your exact list. I know you mentioned everybody with everything. So
okay, so
give a big shout out to especially the volunteers at the top.
Sarah Boyce and Angie Lehman are the ones that brought it to us to start with, and that's where it all began. And then Sarah's sister Becca and Karen run Boomer's Kids Club.
Okay. Which is
And-
new this year, right? They did. Were they?
No,
here
they've
this-
been here.
Okay. all
They've
right.
been here and helped along the way. Stock Exchange and Great Plains Bank have always helped us since we started this.
Okay.
Bank 7 is new this year.
All right.
Kel Stedman's going to come out and
Okay.
and help us out a little bit.
He's
there.
got a lot of life happens with the new baby and new job and everything.
He can
so, yeah.
probably really give them some good clues. And then, of course, both dealerships, Vance Auto Group and Barber Dyson, are going to be there. They were both very receptive to the idea.
And I know before there was in the transition with the dealerships before, so that's why
Yes.
they weren't out there at times. But I also know before that the previous owners did.
Oh, they've always been supportive.
Yeah, no question. McKay definitely.
And
well, so,
Pioneer
yeah.
has always been supportive, and of course Kevin Kanzler with State Farm Insurance, as well. He is the only one that is coming to this year, but I'm sure and I know that there are others that have been very supportive of everything throughout the years. And then Brian Cook and Kendra Brown, they have been super, super helpful with the whole process.
And Vonda's taken this
And
as well.
Vonda.
Yeah.
Vonda is my hero.
She's our hero at times too. She's like our, Deion Sanders, multi-sport athlete.
Absolutely.
Get it all done with things. What I love too is when I've walked by and I'm paying attention when people are out there running the booth. They're kind of pushing some of their products as well. I know the car dealer, the Denali. Hey, look at this. This is shiny.
It's beautiful.
Who wants to say no to that? Hey, look at this really nice house you don't have to do any work to. Well, if that exists. I don't
Yes.
know if that really would exist. But they want to push that a little bit to show them overspending. We should have like a diaper thing. As soon as they get kids, they need to okay, this is what, $12 I'll buy you. 2 diapers. I haven't bought diapers
Maybe we
in a
do
while.
need a diaper booth.
I know that's
might be a
something
good
that we need
idea.
to think about with things because that ain't cheap. There's a reason why we got a baby food and stuff like that. Nothing is cheap anymore. So that's the other question. Inflation. Do we have cost of inflation or do we rely on the experts that really kind of know with things as well?
We try to make sure that we add that in there from year to year.
Okay.
And I'm sure next year's will look different than this year's. They
Hopefully
seem
better.
They
Come
seem
on,
to
people.
change a
Yeah.
lot.
Yeah.
So
It does change a lot.
It does.
And it has not gone down as we have noticed with things.
No.
So, yeah. So what's the number one paying occupation that we have out there for our students?
I think it was something from entrepreneur.
Really?
Yes, entrepreneur. People in their own realm, in their own businesses, can
Yeah, there we go.
is the key word.
Yes.
Really do well if they're cautious, if they know their market.
Because if you do look up the entrepreneurial success rate versus the divorce rate, divorce rate's a little bit less a lot of times because the success
Yes.
rate is difficult. And I know that's one of the harsh realities a lot of times of people getting business loans, going to one of these said banks to try to do that. It's not always easy with things, but
The paychecks, the amounts came from Oklahoma JobNet for the median
Okay.
income for that position in
right.
the state of Oklahoma, which we know we're not exactly like the east side of the state
Yep.
or the south central part of the state, but it gave us a gauge to go by.
And one thing we need to think about with the diesel is adding that CDL route as well with things also for those people to see. I just love it. I think it's a neat deal. I'm glad to see the two of you kind of take the ball and run with it because it's something that needs to continue. I honestly will say this. I'm going on the record. Every kid that's a junior or senior, irregardless if they're in our sending district, in our school, goes through it. But every kid that's in our district that's a junior or senior needs to go through this because life does happen and it is real and it ain't always pretty, right?
It's
It ain't
not.
like Gary Allen says, life ain't always beautiful, but it's a beautiful ride, and it's how you rebound with things. So, all right, any other parting shots before we go and start checking these students in and getting after it?
No, thank you so much for having us.
All right, thanks a lot. Everybody have a great morning. See you next week.